Hello, welcome to this webinar. It's called HypnoSlim, and the idea of this is to explain to you about training in HypnoSlim and what the advantages are for you as a hypnotherapist. HypnoSlim is a system of weight loss and weight control. And to give you a little bit of background about it, it starts off about 15 years ago when hypnosis type gastric bands were still far off into the future. I used to help people lose weight with other forms of hypnotic suggestion. I also included some coaching about reframing their relationship with food. It was successful, but I thought it merely part of my toolbox as a therapist. As the practice grew, unfortunately, so did my waistline, and I realized that I needed to lose weight. I'd been relatively fit once, and I'm sure lots of people can say that, but I felt the drop in my stamina, and my wardrobe was no longer big enough to take in all the clothes. Now, I'm not very good at teams, or support groups for that matter. I feel that they can perpetuate the same behaviours that they're designed to alleviate. I do feel that sometimes support groups can create a comfortable place for the members. And don't get me started on comfort zones, or rather what I call them functional zones. What I did is I looked at the two big diet companies, studied what I could about their diets and how they worked, and I realised that for several reasons this wasn't for me. Firstly, as I say, I'm not good in groups. And I couldn't sit there all evening applauding somebody over half a pound weight loss, nor could I be sympathetic for a weight gain. I'm not saying that I'm better than them, but it's because I realized two things. Firstly, I need my own focus, not that of a group. You abdicate your responsibility when it's a group. And secondly, I have a personality that when it sees a barrier, I'll knock it down. I, of course, realize that others are like that too, which is why diets don't work for everybody. Put restrictions on someone's food, especially those overweight and out of control of their eating, and they won't stick to it for too long. But the key is when they break it, they will feel a failure. This is what we create in terms of yo-yo diets. We lose a bit, we put on a little bit more. We lose a bit, it comes back on, we put on a bit more. And it can take years before someone will have a second go. And by that time, of course, they're much bigger than they were when they started. So, the answer is, don't diet. I decided not to diet, but instead just change my eating habits. I was 4 stone too heavy and health was an issue. So failure was not an option. Hence no diet. If I didn't start one, I couldn't fail. I thought about what I was doing wrong. And I did loads of research on the good things and bad things in our food. Of course, I looked into the usual suspects: fat, water, wheat, sugar, of course. I researched whether there should be 3 meals or 4 meals or 5 meals a day, how many gaps, what the gaps should be between food, whether there are any snacks, what sort of snacks. So I did my homework. I thought about what I was doing wrong, and I did the most important thing. I changed my mindset. Because of all this information, I felt like I was back in control. I decided on a no-rule system so that I couldn't break any rules. And if you don't make rules, they can't be broken. So, take away the diet rules. I just want you to think about this for a moment. We eat 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's 3 times 7 times 365 is 7,665 meals a year. Now, you can argue with me over the 75 years, but 75 times 7,665 is 574,875 meals in a lifetime. Why are you a failure if you eat a cream cake one day? Why does a takeaway meal make you a loser? Why does a bad food day make you worthless? This is the way we diet. This is not the HypnoSlim way. Emotion plays a huge part in the way we plays a huge part in our relationship with food. We all eat emotionally. Most of us reward or punish ourselves. And I've given you a couple of examples here. I feel like I want fish and chips tonight. Or an alternative is I feel like a tuna salad for lunch. If you follow what I'm getting at here, you'll realize that skinny people eat emotionally too. It's not just the obese and the overweight and the fat. We all do it. So if you could find a plan that removed the thought of failure and worthlessness, took away the rules of eat this, not that, but most importantly, this way helped you gain control over what you ate, regardless of what the emotions involved are, you'd want to learn about that, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to give that a go? This is HypnoSlim. It's a default way of eating. I created a default. A default is something that you return to consistently after you've deviated from it. There's no rules and there's certainly no punishment to it. Just return to the default and carry on. I ate whatever I wanted. Mindful of portion size, of course. And within a few days, I was so tuned into what I was doing, the emotional backdrop was irrelevant. And I was in control of what I was eating. When your client starts the default this way, they find within a few days that the emotional backdrop becomes irrelevant. And I've repeated that for a reason, because I really want to drive that home. How, I can hear you asking. That's for training days. I will show you how when you come and train. This is how it works. Oh, before I do that, I just want to say that this doesn't suit everybody. It suits most people. It suits people a bit like me, a bit independent, a bit bolshy, people that are not so good in groups. It also suits people who have tried and tried and keep failing. This is perfect for the yo-yo dieters because at last you put them in control and then they've stopped doing eat this, not that. It's crazy. It's a recipe for failure. So this is how it works. HypnoSlim is 4 one-hour sessions with your client. The first session is a meeting, assessment of their lifestyle. You put default into their lives, but you fit it into their lifestyle. So someone that works 9 to 5 is going to be a very different default to the person that's a bus driver or something like that, where they're away from their usual place of work or they're varied in their usual place of work. Taxi drivers, those sorts of people. So default is an individual placement of the principles of taking control along with the tricks and the techniques of taking control but it fits into the individual's lifestyle. Now, I like to place these sessions about a week apart. So if about 3 weeks in total. So after a week, you get second session. They're on the default for 5 or 6 or 7 days. They're already losing weight because they've suddenly realized that they can be in control over what they do. And they're so desperate to lose weight that they start losing weight just on the default. So you catch up to see how it's working and adjust it if necessary, particularly with strange eating habits and strange shift work and that sort of thing might need a little extra adjustment. And you do a short hypnosis session on visiting the surgeon. You let them go again, and a week later, they've lost weight again, check on the default, and you do the hypnosis for a gastric band surgery. And it's a walk through a gastric band operation. So you take them to the hospital and you walk them through the operation. A week later, you check on their focus and their motivation and you adjust the band if it's required. I have to say I've never had to adjust the band because our minds have a particular way of setting it right for us. I've only on one occasion have I ever had somebody say to me, I think it might need adjusting, and I was prepared to do it. But when we got there, when we got to the session, it wasn't really necessary and we carried on. There may be a little bit of emotional flag. Motivational hypnosis then is called for. Just a normal routine. I can show you that, or you can probably use your own. Any food aversions that are hanging around, crisps, chocolate, the usual stuff, then I will discuss aversion therapy, which is only a short 10-minute thing anyway. I want to go back a little bit and why we do the gastric band surgery in virtual gastric band rather. And that is because what it does is it gives them an awful lot of encouragement to think that the stomach is now the size of a golf ball, because that's what I work with. And I also give my clients a golf ball so that they keep it with them and it reminds them. I also, what it does is it reduces their portion size, of course. It helps them stay fuller longer, which helps the overall. And it also makes them eat slower because they think their stomach is so small, they eat slower. And that's encouraged. So that's it. It takes a day to train you as your hypnotherapist. We don't need to spend too long on the hypnosis element. So it's a day's training. What's the income from this, I hear you ask? I'm currently charging a fee of £400, and I'm paid, take that all on the first session. I believe this should be adjusted though for whereabouts you are in the country. West Yorkshire's not that rich. We have some rich patches and then not so rich. But 400 quid seems about right to me. I believe where in the country you could go down as low as 350 and up to 600, I think, if you chose. If there's a few of you in London and you want to charge more than that, then of course, let's talk about it. There is a right price for wherever you are in the country. I don't discount my work ever, but I'm allowing the 50 quid. But if it's below 350, you will start to devalue the brand, and I don't want that to happen. So what do you get for training? I'll get to the costs in a minute. What do you get for training you with HypnoSlim? You get a method of weight loss and weight maintenance that works. I've had people losing anything up to 8 stone in 18 months, 6 stone in 12 months. Very often people will only have 2 or maybe 3 stone to lose, and they'll lose it very comfortably over 6 months, 8 months, because they're in control. The pace of the loss and the maintenance, then going on to the maintenance, is very easy, and it's at their speed. Maintenance, once they've lost the weight they want to lose, maintenance is easy. You just loosen the default very slightly. So when I'm on maintenance, I'll eat 2 meals a day on the default way, which is 2 sensible meals. And then if I want fish and chips one day, then I'll do it. And my default may not be returned to quite as often as it would be if I wanted to lose weight. Okay, you get the method. You get a license to use the name and advertise yourself as a HypnoSlim accredited practitioner, licensed practitioner, beg your pardon. I will give you supervision to operate the system so that you can contact me and let me know about what you need to know. There's a monthly webinar support supervision if that's what you want. If you don't want it, then don't bother, I won't do it. Access to 24/7 support, like I say. On the HypnoSlim website, you will have a page or profile for yourself and a free download of all the paperwork, and there'll be training stuff going on there too as we get into the thing a bit more. There's more to come. You get a website badge and a web page on your website. We will put a page of advertising, marketing for your clients to read, along with a badge, which would be a link back to the HypnoSlim website. And we will do that for you if you wish. If you prefer your own people to do it, we'll send you the information and the gobbledygook stuff. But if you like, we will do it for you if we give us access to your website. I'm so convinced by everybody, including me, that HypnoSlim is going to work really well. We are going to spend the money on SEO and make sure HypnoSlim comes into weight loss program and weight loss searches on the internet. We're going to do. We've already started a social media marketing through a Facebook page, and there's a group ready for the people that are trained. So it's going to be a private group to discuss the forum, etc. If you're not a member of the registered with the psychotherapy directory, you'll get the free coupon code worth the first 6 months. It's only £7.50 a month anyway, but it's worth 45 quid, providing you're not already a member. If you are, chances are you've already had a discount of some kind. If you're not already a member of the National Council of Psychotherapists, we will waive your £25 application fee. If you are a member, I'm sorry, it's too late, you don't get that. But the best bonus of all, of course, is this is my baby. I'm created this over a number of years, and I will be at the end of the phone if you need me. Now, one thing to remember is that we are limiting the numbers to 200 in the UK. Reason being, I want people to make a living at it. So that's what we're doing. We're going to only do 200, and I won't get overpowered by too many phone calls. Okay. This is what it costs you to train. The training and the license fee will be £697 plus £25 a month for the fee, the license. And that, of course, goes back into the SEO stuff and everything on a monthly basis. For the first 50 people we train, we have a few signed up already, but there's plenty of space in the first 50. For them, the fee is £497, with the first 3 months license free. And after that, it will be 25 quid. Like I've said, we're only going to train 200. So you need to be in that number if you're interested. The training is targeted at London on the 13th of April, Leicester the 11th of May, and Edinburgh the 22nd of June. if you want to train, you must let us know fast, because it will fill up really quickly. That's the badge, licensed practitioner. That's the badge that goes on your website. And now we're ready for Q&A, if anybody's ready. There's one more slide, I think, and that is ways of contacting me. Yes, you can see I'm a busy boy. Psychotherapy directory, the NCP, RayFreemanTraining.com. Working from the bottom up are the best ways to get hold of me. Ray Freeman Training is the quickest way. Okay, now to questions.